What's going on, YouTube? Getting a little bit of a late start today because I took ivermectin this morning at like 7 a.m. and then I got really tired. ChatGPT says it could be because of die-off symptoms from the parasites dying, or it could be the ivermectin crossing the blood-brain barrier and impacting GABA. So GABA might be the culprit for me going back to sleep. But I feel clearer now. This channel is really about just someone who has been diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder. This guy. And I don't believe the modern healthcare system, with them prescribing like all these, at least for me, medications, and I think for a lot of people with depression, we've been impacted so much by Hollywood. When we talk about mental health, it's like it's all related to your brain, and we don't really consider the gut. So the combination of parasites, and my gut has gone down a little bit, but the combination of parasites and I thought I was taking my shirt off. The combination of parasites and antipsychotics has made me gain a lot of weight. But now, when I take antiparasitic medication, kind of just like made me feel a lot better, where I'm able to come to the park and just run every day at like 8 in the morning. I wake up at 6 or 7. I used to hate waking up. I used to hate my life. But now I kind of like it. And then I start thinking about like my job and stuff, what I want to do for money. But I'm very introspective, very deep. I think about things deeply. And I'm like, what do I really want to do? You know? And you're kind of watching it right now. This is what I would want to do for money, which is like just promote a healthy gut, specifically parasites, because I know that messes people up a lot. So I made the connection between the gut and mental health. So really, this is a mental health channel. I promote wellness, you know. Probably not gonna get popular because people who usually get popular are not the best among us. They smoke, drink, hang out with OnlyFans girls, do porn. That's usually who rises to the top because they're controversial. Right now, my channel's not even getting served to anybody because of those reasons. But in other news, my scale said 258 today, and the lowest it's ever said since I started was 259. So officially going into weight loss mode. I've been watching Nick Rambles on YouTube. I like his channel. He just talks about modern society, the problems with everything. I mean, he was a poli-sci, political science major, studying to be a lawyer. So he has an interesting perspective to bring. I would like to ramble, but I don't really talk, I just listen, you know? This channel will grow its own theme and niche over the years. Hopefully I'm doing it that long. Hopefully winter doesn't slow me down. There's a Bible verse that says, "Don't cast pearls among swine." So that basically means don't try to help people who are just not, you know, good people. They're lost in their ways. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. I mean, it has some good values to it, like being no part of the world. Kind of goes hand in hand with this channel, because I'm not really gonna get any views unless I talk badly about JWs or if I do things that are considered immoral. Even these people who talk about, like, I don't know, there's certain things I don't agree with. That's why I don't really have an opinion about things. Like, I do, but I'm always arguing with myself. I'm always contradicting things I say. Later on, I'm like, damn, you were wrong about that. The more you know you don't know. So it's like I don't really have much to say in terms of the political state of the world or anything like that. I have my own belief system and it works for me. I mean, I built this. I computer aided designed it. Not AI. Like, manually designed it. And I'm proud of it. I 3D printed it, I built it. And I don't see anyone else in the world who is able to say that. So I feel like my philosophy, I'll give you this. We're in a question simulator. We're in some sort of place that we don't really know. People guess. That's why we have the Bible. That's why we have astrophysics. But we're in some sort of video game where the point of it, you know, people ask, what's the point of life? And that's the point, is to ask questions. It's like, yeah, you're on the right track. And then the challenge, and this is the good part, because what's life without challenges, is coming up with the right questions to ask. That's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy says that. I couldn't come up with that on my own. I had to learn that from somewhere.
So, you know, and then I'm a solipsist, and I am intrigued by that philosophy. But I still know how to socialize and interact with people. I just don't necessarily see their perspective. And I don't waste brain power trying to imagine what other people are thinking, because most of the time you're going to be wrong. So I use 100% of my brain on only thinking about my perspective. It sounds narcissistic and selfish, but hey, read The Selfish Gene book. I forgot who wrote it. It's in my car, which I'm done with 2 laps. So you got to be a little selfish. You know, people preach, oh, you got to be selfless, all that. No, not really. You know, people just want to take advantage of you and take your shit. And it's like, you got to rely on yourself, because I mean, there are people who are literally unable to care for themselves because they have like some sort of disability. But honestly, that's not really, like, if that's not happening to your immediate family, there's no reason to worry about it. You know, I have my own problems to solve. It's kind of why we're here, is to solve problems that we were given. And making money, the problem of making money or finding out how to manipulate people or convince them to give their money to us isn't really a problem to be solved. You know, like, some people on the internet who are popular will be like, yeah, man, you gotta make money. And it's like, bro, the money's right in front of you. If you're a solipsist, especially if you're a solipsist, pretty much the world is your oyster. Everything is yours. Within reason. Like, you can't just go up to people and GTA them and take their shit. But I mean, that's where God comes in. That's where I like being a Jehovah's Witness comes in. Because it's all about community and friendship, forming genuine partnerships with people. I'm not trying to preach my religion. I'm just saying that's how I grew up, and a lot of people struggle to find any sort of meaning or structure from an authority, because yourself is not an authority. You do need people before you who've went through things more challenging than you to give you life advice. Like, there's people like David Goggins, if you're into the world like that. And I mean, he motivates me. I come out here. I mean, would I go into a cement pit with a bee in there and get stung over and over and not know when I'm getting out? Like a war, you know? Like being in a war, I don't think I want that. I definitely know I don't want that. Nobody wants that. You have to be a psychopath to be able to get through that. I feel like I am on the spectrum of psychopathy a little bit. Like, some things that bother people a lot don't bother me. I kind of just see the logic behind it, and I persuade myself not to worry too much. You know, people have called me cold before, and like I don't have any emotion, and I pretty much numbed my emotions. I really don't like emotions because I feel them strongly, probably stronger than most people. So when I feel, but I don't let my emotions dictate my life. like they do, like for women, for example. They have feelings which men don't have. Their feelings, you know, dictate their life. Yeah, I just don't have that, and I don't pretend to have that. And if a woman wants to fall into my life after I've built something for myself, you know, that's fine. But I'm not out here searching for it, because I feel like, again, that's not the questions that I'm asking. I've asked those questions before. How do I get a girlfriend? And it's a lot of emotions. It's a lot of like emotional intelligence, a lot of pain, like heart pain, like not physical pain, but like mental pain that you have to go through. Jealousy gets in the way. Your head gets clouded when you get filled up with rage or jealousy when you see the person that you like going somewhere else and they don't feel the same way about you. And that's, you know, I've been on both ends. I've been on the receiving end of that, and I've been on the delivering side of that too, where women have liked me and I didn't feel the same way, so I've probably done things to make them jealous a little bit. But yeah, it's not really about like being liked. Like, yeah, you want to be a good person, but it's not really about like getting liked from someone you want to like you. It's about being liked by the people who naturally like you. You know? So I feel like as long as you build yourself up and do things to genuinely seek out ways to make yourself a good person, someone will just naturally fall into your life and accept you for who you are. I know that sounds cliche, and I currently don't have anyone to show for that mindset, but that's how I've kind of been living my life. And I know there's external demons, let's say, like pressures or challenges or oppositions that will try to get in the way of your beautiful success and your beauty and your perfect life. Like, there are people who will become envious or jealous about your life, so they'll try to step in a way and, you know, take that away from you or not let you have it. There's actual people like that who will sabotage you without any gain for themselves. That's what you call, oh man, I had a whole thing for that. I had a whole word for that before. I kind of forgot about it because I didn't want it to like, but the general idea is like, they're bad people, they're a bad person. But yeah, when someone takes away from you with no gain to themselves, that's why I like solipsism a lot, because when you're the only person in the world, when you're the only consciousness, it sounds scary. It's like, damn, that sucks. And yeah, sometimes it's lonely, and sometimes, I mean, there's always people around. Like, there's a person, as you can see in my glasses, there's someone right there. You know, so someone always comes to, like, there's always a reason for someone to come into your life, you know? It's like a spiritual awareness. There's always some sort of butterfly effect to the whole thing. Oh, look at the dog running. Oh, he was chasing the squirrel. That's so awesome. So yeah, just recognizing that just being thoughtful and mindful. Like, a lot of people, they're not awake, like they're so asleep. I'm not trying to be like woke in the political sense, but because you start off, I'm pretty sure that whole woke thing started with like a conversation I had when I was high with someone. I was like, dude, I'm so awake right now. Like, I'm so what's the word I'm looking for? I'm so aware of myself right now that I'm like, I've never been this perceptive of what's in front of me before. I've always just been in my head, like, scheming, planning how to get girls, how to make money, how to be successful. And then I really started thinking about it. I'm like, bro, like, what's the actual, like, okay, if you think about money, right? Like, who are you doing it for? They're giving you money, but you're accomplishing their goal. If they have money, and money comes, it's printed from the government, so the government ultimately has say in what they want in life, which is like military. And if you live in the United States, the defense budget is like really high, so we like pretty much always want to be defended. And yeah, if you subscribe to that you want to live and you want to defend yourself and you want the right to live, then yeah, that's good. But then as that money trickles down to people who create weapons, then what do they want? And then they pay you. And then you get into good things too, like medicine and stuff, like biotech or construction or cars or whatever. Like, there's always some sort of use for big things that we all collectively agree on. But if you have those things, you have basic necessities, it's like, do you really need more money to basically seek pleasure, like go on vacation or travel, or like, I don't know, I feel like there's more to the fact that we're here, like, I almost feel like we're in some sort of puzzle game where we're supposed to figure out, I don't know, some people, yeah, but I'm saying, like, there's some sort of reason why we're like, there's like this ultimate question that you're supposed to figure out what to ask, and there's like, maybe there's a lot of questions that you kind of have to journey through. But for example, the whole thesis behind this is like, how do I get out of chronic fatigue? Like, this channel is just like, how do I want to live life, and there's literally parasites. I don't know why they exist. Maybe it's for this channel, because this is a good thing, and this came out of that question. So, but literally they're little demons. Like, I saw this one Instagram reel where this girl was comparing parasites to demons, like in the Bible, like the same, like they literally describe demons and parasites are literally described the same way. Like, the Bible is describing demons, but everything it says about demons, whatever we say about parasites, is like connected. It's the same thing that we say about both. They're both being talked about in the same way. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've been influenced by movies, especially in the United States. Like, Iron Man's my favorite movie, and I really like military and superheroes. So when you combine the two, it's like, damn, that's like a orgasm. My second favorite movie is probably Fast and the Furious. I really like cars, which is why I created a flying car. Because, Iron Man and Fast and the Furious, cars and flight. I don't really fuck with the weapons thing. I feel like I don't know. I feel like people are scared, so they you want to defend yourself. Like you look at the animal kingdom, they're ruthless. They always have some sort of defense mechanism, and of course humans have guns and all that stuff. Where was I going with that? But yeah, in life, like, you just want to become, like, you want to grow. Like, the purpose of life is to mature. That's a Kyrgyzstan or whatever that guy is on YouTube with those animations with those little birds and stuff. That's what their thesis is that to be here is to mature. And like we're supposed to become the best version of ourselves. And that's what I think that's what YouTube is about. Because the first, you look at all of YouTube, like the big people, like Mr. Beast, and well, I always look at the big person, like the number one person, because that's, in my head, I'm like, I need to compete with the number one player. I'm like, if I'm not aiming for the stars, I'm not gonna land anywhere, so I might as well just like compete with the biggest guy, because who are they? Like, they're just a person. I'm sure I can do what they do. If I was them, like, I'm sure I could do it. It's hard, yeah, but like, they're doing it. They're human. Plus, he's like sick. He has Crohn's disease, so it's not like, it's, and maybe that's why he's doing it. Maybe he has Crohn's disease, and literally you need Crohn's disease or some shit. I don't know. Nobody's ever said that or thought of that before, but that's where my mind goes to, things like that. But you look at people like that, and what are they doing? Like, they're just like evolving. They're like growing. They're like being bigger and bigger and taking over and like competing with other people. We see boxing fights and all this stuff, like who can beat who and who has the bigger channel and who's better than who and who should you pay attention to, who should you like. It's funny because the first video ever on YouTube was me at the zoo, which is like the founders of YouTube were at the zoo, and it's like that. YouTube is like a zoo. YouTube, like, literally, the people who are watching through the screen are watching an animal, and like the person on camera is the person who's the zoo animal. See, like, that girl agrees. People come into your life in mysterious ways. It's very spiritual, but she liked that idea. She was like, yeah, that's true. So yeah, if you want to be a YouTuber, you have to accept your fate that you are a zoo animal, and people are gonna watch you and judge you and be entertained by you, and they'll give you food and treats and all this stuff to keep doing and keep performing like a little monkey. And if you're okay with that, which I mean I am, I like the idea that I'm like locked in and not like in a cage. I'm obviously not in a cage. I'm free to roam around the world. But when you're a YouTuber, you kind of have to like separate yourself from the rest of society a little bit. I mean, you can bring in your friends and stuff. Like, there's channels that do that and they live their life, but you kind of just like seclude yourself. I mean, that's with any job, really. If you're doing any type of work, like, and I feel like that's why women travel, because they don't like being locked in. They don't like being caged in like an animal. Even though they do it to men, they do it to us to like be like, no, you gotta work your way out, you gotta prove yourself and all that shit. And it's like, bruh, they're just like free to roam the world, and it sucks for them because they're not very strong or intuitive or smart. They always rely on other people, so it's not like they can just travel the world by themselves. I'm sure some people have done it, but it's very risky for them. So yeah, anyways, ran 2 laps today. I'm doing this until I lose 50 pounds, so around 200 to 210. We'll see where we go from there, but that's the goal right now, is to
lose 50 pounds. I should have probably started with that in the beginning. It's alright. I'm not too crazy about retention or anything like that. If you want to watch me because maybe you're on your deathbed with cancer and you're wondering how to, literally that's my target audience. If you're dying with cancer stage 4 and you have no other option, you just want to live your life and you're like maybe this guy will save my life. Literally, fenbendazole is an anti-parasitic medication, but it's a known cure. I don't want to say cure, but it has a lot of backing for it. Like there's a lot of people who vouch for I had stage 4 cancer, I took fenbendazole and I got rid of my cancer. So literally, if you're a cancer patient or something and you want to know how to turn your life around, this video's for you. So yeah, I'll see you guys back for day, I believe it's 10. Wow, we're getting into double digits. It's either 9 or 10. I gotta check, but thanks for watching. Or more, you're out. Per John.